Hi, my name's Joe. Welcome to the channel where I help you make better coffee and give you honest reviews. Today, I have the RKIN water system. This is a reverse osmosis system with a kind of a system that also adds minerals to it so that you can have a mineralized water, not just like a super low TDS water like normal reverse osmosis. So I'm very excited to review this. Full disclosure, they did send this to me for a review, so I didn't pay for this unit. But I don't think that that's going to cloud my review too much, but I just want to disclose it with you. And then in terms of a review, as you know, I'm a coffee reviewer. I do coffee stuff, so water isn't really my reviewing thing, but water is mostly what is in coffee. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a test during this review to test how this water tastes against normal reverse osmosis and tap water. So it's going to be kind of a full spectrum of different options, and then we're going to kind of compare. I'm going to do a blind taste test to really decide which one I like the taste of the most, and then go from there. I will say we are using a pretty good brewing method. This is a AeroPress, and it's reliable. It always makes pretty good coffee, and you don't have to think about it too much. So with that said, let me first show you how to set this machine up. So it's pretty easy. All you gotta do is turn it on. I have 2 liters of water set up for you. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna pour this into the bottom side, which is the, I'm not gonna call it dirty water, but let's just say unfiltered water. And that is how it's gonna filter out to the top. So what you do is you pour these 2 in. All right, our unfiltered water is in here. Now we're just gonna pick that up a little bit, push it in. And I think that is nicely seated. And then you're gonna start by hitting this button up top. Now this is doing the initial, also make sure it's level. I already checked, but this is level. Now it's going to start doing its initial cycles. Once all that's out, we'll come back and we will start getting the review in. All right, so this filter recycles water back into the bottom here, and it's okay that it does that. You can keep recycling the water because it's going to filter it up here. But you do have to keep filling this up until this gets up to 2 liters of water. So this turns solid yellow. We're going to pop this out gracefully. Pour water back in. And it's also okay that this is like a loose fitting. You'll see the plastic thing here is loose fitting. That's okay, it's supposed to be like that. Okay, now we're gonna pop it back in. Hit the button again, and it's gonna continue that cycle. Okay, we are done filtering the first phase of water. We have a little bit over 2 liters of water in here. We're gonna go ahead and place our pitcher underneath here, and we're gonna pull this out. You can push it in till you let water go in. What we're gonna do is push it out so it stays open until all the water comes out. Okay, so just to show you a comparison, we got the normal tap water that we started with and this water. Obviously this water looks way grosser, and that's because this is the first filtration. So we're gonna go ahead and discard this, fill it back up, and do another round of filtration. Before that though, if you look inside this top bin, it's got some of the residue left. So my recommendation is to take this lid off, kind of wipe around a little bit, just get some of that gunk out. You don't want all that black stuff. As you can see here, you get a little bit of that black stuff out of there. There's a lot of that kind of gross looking water in there that we'd like to get out. So do that and you're good to go. Okay, so we're done setting up the system. We have filtered out all the bad water, and now it's pretty clear. And we've got 3 waters in front of us. Before I start tasting and telling you everything, though, I do want to let you know how we're going to structure the video. I'm going to do taste tests of the water. I'm going to then do taste tests of coffee. And then I'm going to give you pros and cons of this RKIN water filtration system. So let's first start off with these waters here. I have reverse osmosis on my right. In the middle, I have the RKIN reverse osmosis, which alkalines the water to about 7 or 8. And then we have just standard tap water. Obviously with tap water, keep in mind that everyone's tap water is a little bit different. I have a well, so my water is going to taste totally different than somebody who might live in a totally different area, like California, Cleveland, and you're getting different tap water. So keep that in mind, that this is kind of just sort of a extra baseline in case you want to know what tap water in general tastes like. But let's start with reverse osmosis. So we did a test on this, and the ppm is about 16. Water's good. This is the water I normally drink. And then here is the RKIN. This is the alkaline water. It does bring it up to about 26, so it's a little bit higher than the standard reverse osmosis. And that one's also very good. It's got a little different of a feeling in your mouth. It's kind of got a different, I don't want to say texture, but it's a little softer feeling. And then here's tap water. Honestly, my tap water isn't that bad. It got a little funky taste up front, but it's pretty clean.
How many parts were in there?
This had a parts per million of 190, so it was pretty high, especially compared to these. But generally, drinking water is pretty good between, you can go all the way down to like 10, all the way up to about 250. Once you get past that, once you're in the 300s, it gets kind of hard and you really don't, it's not enjoyable drinking water. But 190 is actually not too bad. So let me just kind of give you a comparison. So this is the RO water. Very clean finish. You don't, taste really anything. You might have a little sort of bittery taste, but it's not crazy. Nothing that you normally wouldn't taste on normal water. The RKIN water immediately, you can kind of taste, you taste like a softness. It just feels a little bit different when you're drinking it. This water, the RO water, is like, I don't know how to say it. It's not hard because it's not hard water, but it doesn't have the same mouthfeel as this. I don't know exactly how to explain that, but it does kind of feel softer in your mouth with this. And the finish is also pretty clean. Yeah, and then tap water, my tap water's not too bad. It does have a little bit of a metally taste, not a ton, but it's got a little bit of that. But yeah, these two are really, really good. I actually, when I first initially started tasting this water, I didn't initially love this one, but I'm starting to prefer this over my standard RO just a little bit. But they're both really, really good. And then, obviously tap water is tap water. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. But generally, I like these two. So let's move on to the coffee test. So what we're going to do here is the big coffee taste test. This is like basically the whole idea behind this video, and the why I even decided to review this is to taste these different waters and see if this is worth it. So what we're going to do is we're going to have the AeroPress. We're going to put, we'll do 10 grams of coffee in here. We're going to do 150 grams of water for each one of these waters. And then we are going to wait 2 minutes for brewing, give it a little shake, and press it through. So it's a little change on a standard brew, but I think we'll have a pretty good result, and we can do a nice taste test. And I can tell you which water makes the biggest difference. So we'll see you in a minute. Okay, so that was a little wild trying to make sure we get everything exactly the same, but we were able to pull it off. And my wife put these nice little hats on top. These, so it's cute. And then this was the last one. I have no idea which is which. My wife said she changed the order of everything, and that's good because I really don't want to know. But I'm going to start. This was the first one brewed, and this was the last one that was brewed. So I'm going to start over here and go down the list here. First, I'm going to start by just giving a slurp, giving you my thoughts, and go from there. First of all, I got to tell you, oh, it smells delicious. So, smells wonderful, like caramely, maybe some notes of cherry, brown sugar. Smells great. Let's get a taste in. pretty good. It's got that very good, like, traditional coffee taste. It's not super complex. And this is good coffee, by the way. This is Equator's decaf espresso blend. It's pretty good. This one's pretty good. Yeah, maybe a little bitter. Mouth feels nice. Yeah, it tastes good. Let's move on to the next one. I'm going to be mostly interested in tasting the differences between these more than anything. Okay. Smell is pretty similar. I'm not getting anything super different. Love the brown sugar smell though. Really nice. The taste on this one is pretty similar. It's pretty similar but it's got a little less bitterness, and the mouthfeel seems a little nicer actually. Yeah, this one's pretty good. Yeah, I think if I was picking right now, this one's a little bit better than the last one. All right, so now to the last one that was brewed. The temperature's been pretty good too. I was surprised. I thought maybe there'd be a little bit more temperature variation here, but it's been pretty stable. Yeah, this is nice. Again, smells pretty similar. This might have a little bit more chocolate notes on it. This one's also very good. This might be the least bitter. Okay. So now I'm just gonna kind of rapid fire sip these to like really get a good side-by-side taste so I can know. So far, I think the first one I like the least, but again, it could be something like when you taste the first taste you get, sometimes it's a little harsh and you don't grasp it quite as well. So now going back after I've tasted all of them, I think we could really get a good idea. Man, this really retained the heat. I think almost, got a little heat going down here. Let me get a little smaller sip there. I mean, really good. Try this one back to back. Yeah, there's something about the mouthfeel on this one that's different. Definitely different from this one. I'm going to try these side by side here. Yeah, this one just has that, kind of like when I was saying it was just a little softer in the mouth. This one has that kind of softer feel in your mouth. So let me go back to the last one that was brewed. Just changing the water isn't as big of a difference, I think, as some people might think. Because I think a lot of people get really bent out of shape about water, but tasting all these side by side, they're all pretty good. Now they have their differences, but none of them are like bad. All right, so I think I think I like this one over this one. I feel like a mad scientist over here. I'm going nuts. We'll see. Let's taste these side by side. Man. I'm really between these two, and I think I like the last one, or the first one the most. I think the mouthfeel on this one is a little bit nicer, but there's something that's not hanging quite as good with this one. So I like this. I think this one's the best. Let me just do a comparison real quick between this one and this one, especially now that this one's probably cooled down a lot. Yeah, I still think I like this one the least. So I'm going to go ahead and make this decision. And it's kind of funny that it's in order here. I don't know how that makes sense. But I think I like this one the most. And then this one the second most, and this one the least. Again, this is a wild test because they are, I mean, some of these are so, we're talking about just minor differences. Because like just then I kind of like this one over that one. So, I mean, I think temperature has a huge play on this. I think the water definitely has a difference because I'm sure because the mouthfeel was so much different on this one compared to this one, and these had a pretty similar mouthfeel. So I'm guessing this one might, one of these is tap water and one of these is maybe the RKIN. That's my guess. And then maybe this one's the RO. And I might just prefer this because I'm used to using RO, but they're all very good. But I think my final decision is this one's the best. This is second best, and this is third best. Camera wife, tell me which is which.
The first one?
First one.
Tap water.
Tap water. Interesting. Okay.
The second one, RO.
RO. Last one is RKIN.
Yeah.
That is interesting. Now, I did think that these were the most similar. Yeah, I mean, we're splitting hairs here, guys. I gotta tell you, I think a lot of that had to actually do with just the temperature. Because, I mean, they were pretty similar, but... And then once you get to the bottom, I mean, the coffee tastes different as you let it settle and everything. There was a lot of differences, but it's kind of not that surprising to me that the normal water tested a little higher, just because it's got a little bit more minerals in there and stuff like that. Obviously, the TDS is much higher, the ppm is much higher, but I don't think you're going to go wrong with any of these. They're all good. They're all very good, and like I said, I think temperature probably played more of a role. So people that say you need the best water out there, don't believe them. I don't think that the water for coffee makes that much of a difference. That's just my opinion. I think you're going to taste some nuances. I did here, but it wasn't radical. So after knowing that, I think I'm ready to jump into the pros and cons of the RKIN water system. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so let's get into the pros and cons here. There's obviously the water test. It's really subjective. I like this water just to taste, probably first or second most. I think because I'm so used to RO water, the crispiness of that was good. But I also really enjoyed the softness of that. It was easier to drink. Like if you needed to drink a lot of water all at once, I think this you could kind of get down easier. It's a little bit more pleasant in the mouth. So that said, I really do like that system, that they are getting the alkalinity right. I know a lot of people are very particular about their alkalinity levels, so getting that to 7 to 8, spot on. It's wonderful you can do that. Because a lot of people will spend tons of money on buying bottled Fiji water or smart water just so that they get the right alkalinity and stuff. Buy something like this, you're going to save tons of money. Next thing, I do like the design, the overall design. I think that the plastic actually is one of these situations where the plastic looks nice. It has this beautifully sparkly kind of little look to it, and I like the metal up front here. And overall, it's not an ugly plastic machine that's just sitting on your counter. But that leads me to the next point. This, for what it is just a water filtration system. But a lot of people that have the above counter things like a Berkey or something like that, those are actually a lot bigger than this. So for the size of this thing, it's pretty decent. So I do like that. You could obviously get smaller Britas and things, but that's nowhere near the filtration level of this. This is getting you down, this is probably bringing you down to like 7 ppm and then bringing it up by adding the minerals in there. So I really do like the size and design of it. Next thing I like about this a lot is kind of the ease of setup. If you're used to setting up an RO system that's below the sink, or maybe some other, you know, below the sink that maybe even plugs in, you have to basically know how to plumb, because you got to like poke holes into your sink and there's different wires going everywhere. This is nice that you just buy it, put some water in it, flush it out, do it again, and you're good to drink water. So that's really, really a nice appeal to a system like this. And fun fact, if you take this water and you put it into an ice tray, you get beautifully clear ice as well. So that's another kind of plus to that. And then my last pro on this machine is that it does actually tell you when your water filtration needs new filters. So the RO, it says lasts about 2 years, and then the 3 other filters, which is a charcoal filter, obviously your mineralization filter, and then a general filter, those all are about 1 year. But it's a little subjective, but it's nice because this little like circle LED indicator will actually turn red or blink red depending on what filter has gone bad. When it blinks, I believe it's the RO or vice versa, and then when it's solid, you need to replace all of them minus the RO. So it's nice that you have indicators. I think it's it's nice because a lot of people will put a filtration system in, and then you might be replacing your filters too often, or you might be replacing your filters never and you totally forget about them. I know a lot of people that do that, and that ends up actually kind of being worse than just not filtering your water. So this is a really nice system to have. I could even see putting this maybe if you have like a home gym or something like that, putting it down there. That way you have quick access to water. You can just pop a little bit out, hit the button, get a quick sip, and you're good to go. So, or if you have a bar, maybe you want to put it near your bar, there's a lot of cool options you could do this. Or, you know, you could do the standard, just putting it, you know, right next to your normal sink, and you can have drinking water there too. I probably won't be doing that just because I already have RO, and it's also pretty big. Takes up a decent amount of space, but that's why I bought one that goes under the sink. But overall, I think there's a lot of nice pros about this machine, and I do like it. So before we do that though and talk about the score, let's go into the cons. Okay, so time for cons, and I gotta tell you, there's not a lot. This is actually a really, really nice filtration system. The only thing that I don't like is that it's a above counter system. For me personally, I think above counter systems are really nice, like the benefits I said before. Like you can kind of pour water in it and you're ready to go. You don't have to do any crazy plumbing, but it does take up space at the end of the day. So that's kind of a con, sort of, but not really. Again, you're buying this type of system, you're expecting this type of system. The other thing is, I don't mind the use of plastic because they leaned into it and they made it designed nicely. But in general, I don't like storing my water in plastics. Call me crazy water person, but you're probably a crazy water person if you're buying a filtration system like this. So that's like one thing for me. I maybe store it in some other like stainless steel or something like that. And then the last two last pieces here, the back panel is removable, obviously, if you want to replace your filters, and the filters are very easy to replace. But the downside is when you want to go do that, you do actually have to get a screwdriver out. It'd be nice if they just had some clips, because you never know, maybe you just need to access that for some other reason. Maybe you got a little, something got jammed in one of the lines or something like that. It'd be easier if you didn't have to get a screwdriver out every time. You just maybe had some clips or something. So that's one thing. Again, nitpicky con, I know, but I'm just trying to nitpick a little bit. And then the last thing is the access to this top bin. Again, this isn't a huge deal, but you can just open this like I did earlier and clean it out. But if you want to fully remove this, you do have to take this piece out, it seems like. So there's not really a great system for easily, quickly removing that and cleaning it out. But overall, I think it's really not a huge issue because you're not really going to have to clean this out that often. The only time is if you really let water sit there for like way too long. But overall, I think there's not a lot to hate about this machine. It's generally very nice. So let me give it a final score. Now, I'm not reviewing an espresso machine, and I don't review water systems in general. I've had plenty of RO systems, though. I've had 3, actually, and this will be my 4th. So, and I've had a Berkey, so I know a decent amount about using these. And I gotta say, this is pretty great. I'm gonna give it a 9.2, actually. I think this is a really nice system. I love the mineralization. I love that you have that, and I like that it's a long-lasting one. It lasts for over a year. So nice. So nice that you don't have to keep replacing that, and that you're getting a sufficient amount of minerals in your water, because, you know, if you're drinking RO all the time, it's hard to keep up. You do have to like put some minerals or take minerals and stuff like that. But this does it for you. And I like that the alkalinity is calculated. You have a 7 to 8 point on the alkalinity. It just really sets it apart from a lot of the other systems. So I like it a lot. 9.2. I'll leave the links in the description to this model and to the standard model without the alkalinity. But definitely take a look at this. I think it's a great option. Ranges between $400 and $500 depending on which model you get. And yeah, I give it the old 2 thumbs up. So don't forget, subscribe to the channel. Helps me out a lot as I'm a small creator, and I will check you out in the next video. See ya.